Hey everyone, Xenum here, and welcome to the Gorilla Tag Creepypasta Iceberg chart. If you don't know what an iceberg chart is, it's basically a chart of an iceberg that has a bunch of facts on it. However, the deeper you go on the iceberg, the more weird and unknown the facts get. Anyway, so we're going to be doing an iceberg chart of Gorilla Tag Creepypastas. For those unaware, a Gorilla Tag Creepypasta is a hacker that can join your game as they pretend to be a robot or a ghost, playing distorted music, flying about, and trying to scare people. It's very entertaining and very funny. Without further ado, let's get into the beginning of the iceberg. Make sure to subscribe, please, it really helps, and let's go. Starting with fact number 1, we have cursed servers. These are servers that hackers commonly join, and if you want a creepypasta hunt, you'd probably go to these servers. These servers include pbby, Soren17, Banjo, and Null, which I commonly visit, but are usually full most of the time, but yeah, moving on. pbby is what some might say is the first creepypasta. Now, I don't want to go too in depth on it as I want to save its origins for later, but all you need to know is apparently he joins your game, and if you look at him, he bans you. Obviously this is fake, but you know, it was a cool myth at the time. Let's just move on. Echo and J3VU are also some very early creepypastas, both probably based off of pbby. J3VU was made as a parody and joke of pbby, and Echo was made as a good version of pbby. Anyways, I keep on saying pbby. I should stop saying pbby. Let's just move on. Going from old to new, we have Daisy09, who is a very new creepypasta and is known for playing the Daisy Daisy song, which creepypastas have used previously, but Daisy09 only uses it. Upon joining the game, as you load into a server, there is a placeholder monkey in your position when you join, and this placeholder monkey is called Namo, which a lot of people have thought is a creepypasta, but it's basically just the game loading you in. It was pretty cool to watch, just leave the server, rejoin, and watch as the player loads in. For a split second you could see the player called Namo, and they were a weird colour, and it was crazy at the time. Creepypasta hunting is when someone goes to a bunch of cursed servers and hunts for a creepypasta, sometimes a specific one. I don't really have anything else to add except for the fact that people commonly do it for like hours and hours and get really dedicated to it and go really in depth, but yeah, that's the end of the tip of the iceberg. Let's move on to let's go deeper down the rabbit hole. A Gorilla Tag ARG is a YouTube series that takes place in Gorilla Tag that slowly gets more distorted and creepy, and usually tells a hidden story. I've analysed a bunch of Gorilla Tag ARGs in my Gorilla Tag ARG Explained video, so yeah, go watch that as well. The Gorilla Tag Archive is one of these ARGs which I've actually examined and explained in the past. This ARG seems to take place in an older version of Gorilla Tag that's corrupted and infested with creepy creatures, so yeah, go watch that video, no spoilers. Safety Tips for Gorillas seems to be a series talking about how to defend yourself against these creatures called wall stalkers. However, they slowly get more and more corrupted and weird. So yeah, I strongly recommend you check it out. Just search Safety Tips for Gorillas and go binge all their videos and discover the secret story underneath it. Or you can just watch my explaining video on them. The Errorcode ARG, the Peeler ARG, and the Reaper ARG are all ARGs that are kind of connected in one big universe, which, like the previous two ARGs we talked about, I have an explaining video on all three of them. Just scroll down on my channel and you'll see a ARG explaining section, and you can just binge watch those videos. Chimplabs is the ARG that I created, and in the middle of a bunch of my videos, I just make them all corrupted and weird and tell secret messages in them. And you never know, there might be a secret message hidden in this video somewhere, so you better watch all the way through. Alright, this is the last one about an ARG. This is actually the first ever Gorilla Tag ARG, created by Chipped Banjo. This ARG is actually what inspired creepypastas and inspired pbby to be created in the first place. So, yeah. Let's move past these ARGs and go a little bit deeper in the iceberg. Paul is one of the characters in the original pbby ARG and is basically the main antagonist in that, and since then he's been used in multiple other ARGs, and he's in the story of Gorilla Tag creepypastas, he's the creator of them all apparently. Yeah. Also, at the back of the city map, in one of the windows, you can see a silhouette. This is theorized to be Paul, even though it's probably not intentional. Null is what people consider the best or their favourite creepypasta, mostly because there are multiple creepypastas called Null, which means a lot of people have seen him, even though they're just different people all called him. One time in Gorilla Tag, there was a major hack where the game was hacked, and just a bunch of people just associated this with Gorilla Tag creepypastas and immediately assumed that someone like Null or Paula did it, even though it's probably just some random guy. Unkownfile is yet another ARG, but unlike the others, this is a lot more advanced and goes beyond just simple videos, as when you join the game and there's a placeholder monkey, which a lot of people have called Namo for a long time, which we discussed earlier, a lot of people are now beginning to think this is Unkownfile, and a lot of people are also thinking that the hacker previously mentioned is Unkownfile. So yeah, that's something. Alright, now let's move on to the final layer of the iceberg, the abyss. Now, Everychimp is a character from my ARG, but we're not talking about the character from my ARG. We're talking about someone else, another creepypasta, who's apparently the most dangerous, and nobody knows what his name, nobody knows what he looks like, and he's just so unknown, we don't know anything about him. I've just named him Everychimp after the character from my ARG. Now it's time for the final entry.